Just being fat as shit.
And even physically violated all.
Hey, you don't fat shame. Y'all hear that? That's why we don't fat shame. When I lose weight, we don't fat shame.
Not gonna lie, that was a good
Hey, when I lose weight, we can fat shame.
response to me on. If a nigga came up to me on some hate and shit, cause no need to say hi if you don't fuck with me. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't even fat. It doesn't matter. You gotta make fun of.
What did Mike Tyson do?
He was fat though. Who the fuck are you, nigga? What are you talking about? He's obviously overweight. Like he has to say something back. You can't just
like that.
It's all good. You probably have a great life, huh? Just being
Is that
fat as
Dabo?
shit.
That nigga
Even
could have
physically
sworn.
violated, all for the sake of the streamer
my
trying to
hand.
keep their viewers engaged. We have seen these clowns hide behind their security.
You know what the craziest part is about IRL streaming now, chat? Like even yesterday when I was at the Canada Argentina game,
That's not good.
I was like, you don't have security?
I need to put these babies
I'm at a
away.
game.
Oh,
I'm at a game. What is gonna happen?
yeah, I'm never swinging again. I'm just.
I don't know what. I don't know
Just
who
gonna
has
get-
deluded everybody into thinking
I
you
can't
need
be
3
swinging
security
like that.
guards for every IRL
I hit my
stream.
shoulder.
Nigga,
I hit my shoulder
I'm
at
at
the
a
same
game.
time.
You
Like,
gonna touch me? There's
oh,
cameras
hit my
everywhere.
mic.
You're
I
done.
almost
You
hit my
better
mic.
kill me. You better not let me fucking breathe.
ain't
Because
for
I
a
will
nigga like
end
me.
you.
I'ma
Your
keep it in
future
the
prospects will be
lobbies.
done. I will bankrupt you and send you to jail. But oh my god, what are you gonna do to me in here? There's too many cameras. What are you gonna do? And why would you do it? I don't have no enemies. Who? Like I literally don't have no enemies. Like it's not like I have beef with hella niggas.
check it
It's not
off.
like I have
Throw
beef
it down.
with anybody.
Check
So
it
every
off.
one thing, I know some niggas have a lot of drama
off.
and beef in their life.
Pick
So
it up.
when they go
I don't
outside,
wanna
they have
pick
to
it up.
consider those
Pick it
things that
up.
people might be out to get them. Who doesn't like me? The Astro CEO. Okay.
Tell y'all
Okay, that's
niggas.
one good answer.
That jacket down.
That's
Pick it
one
up.
good
Hang it.
answer.
Drop it. That shit will
As
take you.
Boston
That's all you
fans,
need to know.
I mean, they just know it's bro. It's
It
just
is.
Boston's a shit place.
That's
But
why
I
I
don't
fucking nigga up.
genuinely hate people from
He
Boston.
ain't putting
bro.
that jacket on like me.
they-
He
the
don't
same
put
way they
it
say
on
fuck
like
Canada,
me.
Feel me? I'll be like,
Don't put
fuck
that shit
Boston.
on.
They don't actually think fuck Canada. Keep
You
an
don't put
eye
that shit
out,
on
buddy.
like a nigga like.
Like, okay, it's one thing. Look, when we're in New York, if I'm doing an IRL stream in a place where
Hey,
I know
I'll put
there's
that
gonna be
shit
a lot of
down.
people in the
Toss that
open
shit.
area, I'll for
Pick
sure
it up.
have security, man. Yeah, like
Hang
one
it.
security guard. But like,
Wait,
I'm at a Canada
fucked it up.
Argentina game. I'll be all right, gang.
hang it.
And of course get slaps on
Pick
the
it up.
wrist from their respective
Drop it.
platforms. But now more recently,
I
I
ain't
guess
watch
the
Karate
world
Kid.
is finally correcting it.
Niggas don't care about shit. I mean, you don't have to care about shit for you to lose everything. Like,
Nigga, you
obviously,
don't
people
care
that
about
commit
shit.
reckless crimes don't care about shit.
Nope. He's wrong. Niggas that lose everything care about everything. Because they had to lose it in order to appreciate it. That is how this world works.
But it doesn't mean it won't come with a lot of consequences.
Itself, and streamers have really been getting the bad karma
Celtics
they
parade was lit
deserve,
today.
and essentially
Can I see
finding
that?
out
What did it
they're
look
not
like?
invincible just because
stay
they
on topic,
clout
nigga.
online.
Security.
So right here
Stay
I
the
have
fuck
for
on
you guys
topic,
the
nigga.
clip
VIP.
that has been both heard and
I got
seen
this nigga
around the
covered
world.
up.
I think it
My
has
bad.
like hundreds of millions of impressions at this point, and it's of our good buddy Sneeko getting his lights punched out at some sort of political event. Yes, it does indeed seem that streamers are now
Cowboys
looking
hat?
around and actually finding out.
Not to be racist, but they all look the same with that hat. I'm sorry. Yeah, they just every Cowboy fan look the same. Especially from
So right
Austin,
there,
Texas.
the person that's slapping that hat
Promise
off
you,
his
they
head
all got the
is
same
Sneeko
something.
himself. As
I'm
you
not gonna
guys
lie
can
to
Going
see,
over there going
security-
crazy in
Alright.
Texas, dropping that.
Let's
low.
watch. Hold on. I'm really a security K type of nigga for the most part. Like
In
venue
Cali
security
too.
K
You know how
type of
niggas be. They
Like this nigga think he dead ass the main character right now. I haven't seen this clip by the way. I just heard Sneeko got his shit rocked, but I haven't seen this clip.
Okay.
Bro, this nigga's dancing.
Okay, to be honest, Sneeko, smart. Sneeko, big smart. What's that other dude's name? What's that dude's name? Bald dude. He's a bald dude. Andrew Tate. That dude. He's funny. But he's also smart. But oh no, not him. He don't have no issues. He's smart. It's the more light skinned dude. More he used to be like a cop. Bro, he sounds like he pisses me the fuck off. Like, I'm not gonna lie, he triggers me, and I'm not even on the other team. I'm on his own team. Like, bro, he always talks about being a high value man and this, but it's the way you carry yourself, right? This man carries himself like a little child. Just being honest. Like, his agenda is to trigger people, provoke people. He knows how to get a reaction out of people, so then he can play victim every single time. Trust me. Oops. Okay. All right. I have a fear. Sometimes I'll tell y'all a secret. There was a time I had nothing cooking, and I ran to the kitchen. Like, the house was on fire. Okay.
Thing like nigga, no one's coming to see you. You security ass, you venue security ass nigga. Do your job, bro.
Security guard had around 20 people in front of him, flicking him off, telling him, "F you." He was having a good time with it. He was doing his dance. But when Sneeko, of all people, decided to feel big because he was in a crowd of people, he slaps the hat off his head, and then hilarity ensues. You guys watch this punch of 1,000 suns he's about to deliver. Oh!
Oh! Whoa!
What? That nigga put all his power into one punch. That nigga never liked that dude. you know it'd be like that, bro. That one person, bro, you just don't like. You just get triggered very fast. You just be on go mode. You want to fight them. You want them to do something. It's like you want a nigga to get out the car, you know? It's like, oh, get out the car.
Oh! Whoa!
He was not expecting that Oh!
What? No, he really doing
not
Superman.
Expecting that shit at all. Here, let me add some sort of sound effect. This is that embarrassing moment when you know you got rocked.
Damn.
As you guys can see, he has some damage to his teeth. And you could see it all over his face, like, oh damn, shit just got real. It's a little bit embarrassing.
You can't just do that, right?
No, it's not. Okay? That is just getting back. Okay? And which is also okay, but that's not self-defense. It would be self-defense if he was defending himself. That was obviously an offense.
Yeah, that was. I agree. If I was a lawyer, I would definitely say we have a case here, Sneeko. Whatever you said or whatever you did, okay. But I just feel like that's a pussy move. You should have just swung back. He already beat your ass. Now you can't lose. That nigga done. You know you're gonna get your ass beat by that dude. But he already did the worst shit ever. He swung his ultimate. He showed you his power. You didn't get knocked out by that powerful punch. You good, nigga. Sweet, nigga.
Defensive maneuver. He was just getting back. Now you could say he deserves to get back.
YouTubers deserve that. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of YouTubers that can't tell the difference from a real prank. Like, I thought pranks are supposed to be jokes. These niggas are actually doing the shit. These niggas are actually, they'll literally they'll just at 5 a.m. pull up with you with guns and stuff and just be like, you'll get a gun and shoot one of them back and they be like, hey bro, it's just a joke. It's just a joke. Niggas dressed like the cartels in the fucking movies, bro. It's just a joke. Why can't you take a joke? What did Drake say? Cause it ain't.
everyone's like, oh, our boy just got punched.
We got Sneeko here. He's got this busted up tooth. Smile for me, man.
These are
The
veneers.
security guard at
Teeth don't do that. There's no way his teeth. That dude's good. One visit to the fucking dentist, should be back. He got the money, bro. I just never want to hear anyone talk about being real. You got fake teeth. Rich people, indeed, need to stop it. They can't ever tell you how to love yourself, bro. You're supposed to love your insecurities. You're not supposed to be perfect as a human. People need to realize that.
Yo, that's not even one fucked up tooth, gang. 1, 2,
Bro, there's just no
3.
way teeth go that way, bro. With the way he punched, he would literally have to like he just, there's no way. Teeth are so strong. It would have to knock out that shit, bro. Just look, how does his teeth just get like, look at our teeth. Our teeth, maybe I just got big teeth. Hey, I just got big teeth, you know. I just, you know, maybe.
That's a big chip, gang. Damn.
At this
How did you get a chip off that, though?
Right up here. We got this guy jumped off the stage. No one attacked this guy. Punched Sneeko in the face. No one touched him. Jumped off the stage, hit Sneeko in the face, and watched the whole thing happen. This was just right now?
Just now. The guy that he put off the speech to go play his music, he just got rocked in the face. But I'm a non-violent person. You know, I care about America first. That's what.
He kind of did deserve that punch, though. I've seen a couple posters that were like, yeah, you deserve to get punched, bro. And you messed with a nigga's hat. He was already on tilt. He was already on tilt. Hey, you just gave that nigga a reason to go swing on you, bro. You know, it's like me, bro. It's me. I'm not like him. People may think I'm like this dude. I'm not like him. First off, I don't pick sides. Let me rephrase that. I don't pick a side and stay on that side. I'm talking about like, okay, I'm going to see from perspective, and then I'm going to conclusion-wise that I need to, okay, so I've heard both of the sides. Now I gotta make sure that fact check time. Who's talking out the rest? Who isn't? Because who's playing victim, you know, it takes a lot, you know. And then you have to go with the stand for of, okay, I support you, you know, you're my dog, but nigga, you wrong. You wrong, you know, regardless. You know, that's the only way people can grow. You know, if they get used to being comfortable, they're gonna stay the same. Sometimes adversity is good. Like let's say something comes up unexpectedly. Now you just it speeds you up. You know, it speeds you up. Maybe you were taking too long to do something. Now you gotta do it. Now you gotta find how to do it in less days. Just something.
It's all about.
Yeah, man, we'll take it through the legal necessary ways we got to do because
Yeah, he just has that look on his face like he's embarrassed, like maybe he wants to cry a little bit. And I love how he says, oh, I'm a non-violent person.
Okay, like in this situation,
I know what he's about to do. It's probably gonna be Sneeko holding the gun saying, ha ha ha, put all up on me, you know, stuff like that. It should not.
Sneeko should not be touching no one's hats. I don't know what's up with the month of fucking
Agreed.
June and
Agreed.
hats, gang. Okay, but hats seems to be a very sensitive topic nowadays. Okay,
It really
in fact,
is.
if you ever see me touch my hat, nigga, it's up for you too. I'm throwing a
Don't touch my
My
hat.
shit's gonna knock you.
Bro, imagine it's hot outside. It's already hostile. I'm telling y'all, the hotter it is outside, the worse my mood is. And if a nigga tired, fatigued, it's worse. I'm trying to tell y'all, don't do that. Niggas ain't getting full sleep nowadays. And it be grouchy. Imagine you not getting a full sleep, nigga. You gonna be grouchy.
The fuck out, nigga. Not just some teeth.
Then people
Look,
got demons.
The problem with this though is
They ready to swing.
socially, everyone's
Demon
gonna see
telling
this
them,
and think
don't try me, bitch.
he deserved it.
You trying to test me?
legally, he can get triple suplex from Eddie Guerrero himself. Okay? Because that will, first of all, he would lose his job. And if Sneeko wanted to be the asshole, he could take him to civil court.
He could. He really could.
Monetarily.
The case would win.
And then charge him and take it to criminal court and put him in jail.
And he could
I don't
fuck
know
up
where
his
this
record.
is, but if this is in America, he could do all of those things. Like, legally, that's a bad decision.
It's literally
to make
on
for
camera.
security. You can't argue that self-defense. Yo, Nat, appreciate the fucking 5 gifted subs.
That dude that's securing, he's supposed to be reporting and calling the cops. He's supposed to remove them from the area. That is it. I wouldn't trust that security guard with a gun after I seen what he just did over someone hitting the hat. I wouldn't trust that man with a gun. That man would probably shot this man over moving with his hat.
Would Sneeko win, though? It depends. It really depends on his lawyer and a lot of different things, but he could do it.
Now,
And
fuck that. Sneeko could have won the fucking battle. I know Sneeko got the strap on him. Sneeko got, oh, bro, come on, bro. Someone that talks like this nigga, he says, I'm not violent. That nigga means, that nigga, you know what that is? That's a gateway to self-defense. That's a gateway. Like, don't be fooled by his little phrases. He knows he's on camera. There's no way he defends himself if he tries to provoke it. This nigga is, I'm trying to tell y'all, don't fall for it. This nigga would be the first one to pull the trigger. I'm not playing. Don't think that shit's sweet. That nigga got a gun on him, strapped. I promise you he does.
I would say he would probably win, honestly. Nat, thank you for the 5 gifted. Provoked? Yeah, but you have to understand how self-defense laws work, bro. They're very strict, and they're super strict depending on where you live.
You can't start something and then claim
I don't
self-defense.
think anywhere as self-defense.
You gotta actually have a
They would
real
say that's
cause.
Yo, Nat, I appreciate the love. In Texas, it would. They're definitely more lenient in Texas and Florida and some places.
Listen,
But I'm a non-violent person.
but
See,
he was the
you
one
see
who
what
put
he
a
just
chance
said?
on someone.
I'm a non-violent person, and as he looks away from the camera, you guys are idiots. That man is not coming to fight. He's not coming to fight, especially a nigga that size. I'm trying to tell you. He not doing that. I'm telling you.
Someone else first. Okay,
He's
the guy
good.
was trying to turn up with it. He was doing the middle finger dance, but then it was Sneeko who decided to take it like a step too far, which he seems to often do.
He
And
does
he got
that.
Superman punched right.
But I'm not gonna lie, security guard case, W's for the security guard, because Sneeko deserved that. That was called a humble pie of a punch. I'm telling you, when you get punched, you rethink everything. You really do. You either say fighting ain't for me, I'm gonna pick up a gun. You might say you might change your life. Or you might just go get some ARs and slide back. I don't know. But there's a lot of outcomes that you can do. Now,
I'm not gonna lie, that's good for him, chat. Hold on.
that
See,
nigga's
that's
super
good
punch
for
was
him.
deadly.
No way around it. He must have fought mixed martial arts.
How did he survive that punch? Like, what? That shit had so much momentum. It just had too much momentum, bro. That nigga was in the air for so long. He's a big dude, athletic. The man should have knocked the fuck out of it. Nico got up like it was nothing. So maybe maybe he's one of those big dudes who just don't know how to, maybe he's one of those. You never know. But that dude's punch did not add up. I did the calculations and I was like, whoa, the momentum, the speed, the burst. The nigga jumped up like an anime character. I'm like, what? That shit was kind of dope. Like, it was nice. How did Sneeko take that shit? Did he not land it correctly?
In some way before, because you don't just randomly throw that out. That was a good Superman,
in
bro.
his face for doing so. I also like.
I might have to slow. We're gonna have to slow mo. We gotta slow mo that
charges,
shit.
bro.
He's
We gotta get down to the
busted up too.
science.
Smile for me, man.
Like, what? like that punch, and I just see little chips. Is that veneers? I don't understand fake teeth. I really don't. I promise you, I don't. That just doesn't look real. Like I've chipped my teeth before, out of my tooth before, but it took a lot. It took a lot, and I just don't understand how. Wouldn't your whole tooth be missing? Not just like there's no way that was like I feel like he just did something with the veneers. That he got veneers. I'm gonna research that because there's no way.
He said,
there's just no way. I can't tell the difference. I can't tell the difference, real or fake nowadays. I can't tell. Shit is too the same. The only thing I can tell, I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it.
Just bro.
He's got this busted
Think
up
before I speak.
He was not the one who provoked the security guard. Now pay attention to what he says right here.
You know, I care about America first. That's what it's all about.
He's all about America first. That's Nick Fuentes' thing. That's his like entire campaign. Just keep that in the back of your head. I'm gonna get back to that in a second. According to this page, Sneeko would then file a police report.
GG, he's cooked.
But there's no evidence to back up this statement. And I'm telling you guys, this clip has gotten like hundreds of millions of impressions on Twitter. And so you know he had to go over there to Cope and see where he says, security guard sabotaged the event and turned off the mic, started playing music and taunting the guests. He punched me and fell over Chip's
you
tooth.
can't tell me.
Hold on. What up, T-Boo? What up, T-Boo?
I'm at the suicide
Here he once again says
dose.
America first. And I like how he shows.
All right, let's see. Security guard sabotaged the event, turned off the mic, started playing music and taunting the guests. Okay. He punched me and fell over, chipped tooth, no big deal. Nigga, what? Nigga, I'm suing it. I'm killing the person that fucks with my teeth. Bro, you know how, bro, I don't give a fuck. I'm doing everything to protect my real teeth. You know how much veneers are? You know how much veneers are? Nigga, what? I'm taking a trip to a doctor in Mexico. I'm taking the cheaper route. Hell no, I'm getting the off-brand veneers. Y'all got me fucked up. I'm sorry. I just can't see myself wasting. Isn't it like 100K? Maybe I'm tripping. Maybe he's like, maybe. All right, let me do some research while we're watching this.
Here he once again says America first, and I like how he shows this picture of the security guard as if they had gotten in some sort of two-sided scuffle where Sneeko had knocked him on his ass, when in reality this dude left Sneeko looking like this. And here is actually an alternate angle of this altercation, the director's cut if you will.
I see why he doesn't care. Why it's no big deal.
So they're all flicking him off.
It makes sense why it's no big deal.
He's kind of the most
Because
visible
he's
one
gonna
there.
go to the fucking dentist and they're gonna fix it.
Jesus
That's
Christ.
nice, bro. You know how
damn.
careful I am with my teeth, guys? This whole time I've been... You don't have to worry about your teeth. You really don't. Wait, if I get veneers, do I ever have to brush my teeth again? Do you have to brush it? You got to, right? Let me see. I don't. Wait, can I get some teeth that are not like they're like, they don't get dirty, like some, like you know what I mean? Like, can't get stuck in my gums. Bro, that'd be hell. That'd be hell. What, bro? I'm intrigued. What the fuck? No, I didn't even see what the fucking price is. I'm trying to get the cheapest version. They have a... Wait. They only last 10 to 15 years with proper care. So they're not lifetime? What? Your teeth, man. I just want to see the price. This is Cleveland. Alright, can I get an estimate? Estimate cost. What? Veneers are only what? So broke people can get veneers? What the hell? I didn't know broke people can. Bro, people like me can literally get veneers? I didn't even know. But per tooth, it's crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go get some. I don't know how I feel about that. So, damn. What about a heart? You can't even buy a heart, but you can. What the hell? I need a new heart. Wait, can someone give me a new heart? Wait, actually, the question is if I ever need a new heart and some organs like a kidney, and can y'all literally like, can I depend on y'all? And what about legs, arms? Nah, I don't want different. Actually, if you're over 6'5", I will take your fucking legs. Actually, that's kind of gay. That's kind of gay. That's kind of gay, bro. I just thought about that. I don't even want to think about that. That's gay. I'm not. That's gay.
The cameraman
Give me the robot shit, bro.
like,
Give me the robot
"Ooh,
shit."
I mean, I would say that flicking someone off to their face
Yeah,
and
that's too
slapping their
personal,
property
bro.
off their
Nah,
head
another
is
nigga's-
definitely enough
that's too
evidence to say that you
personal.
provoked them. Now, my guys over at Abra and Twitch
This
reacted
is
to
too
this,
personal,
and they
bro.
said they're willing to pay the court fees for this security guard should it be taken there.
I'm
If you're
good.
watching the
I'm good,
security guard
gang.
And they actually try to sue you, contact me. I'll take care of your legal fees. I got time. I'm bored. I'm bored, and
He is bored.
I want to own a memorabilia of this. I want a painting done. I want a fan to make me a painting of this.
People also said
No, Alma gotta be the pettiest nigga on the planet. hey, that's good self-awareness though, to know you're bored and you want to get involved, man.
it was
That's good
reminiscent of this
self-awareness.
streamer moment that just happened around a week ago as well. But this is actually some streamer-on-streamer violence where Bradley Martin gets the hat taken off his head by this guy, Ronaldo, I believe is his name. And Ronaldo...
Like, do you guys know that when we were in New York for the Jordan stream, there was near the end where the concerts were happening, there was a guy that pulled my hat off. And I felt him doing it and I went, who the
No,
fuck
I'm not
is
gonna lie to you. If you got some fucked up haircut or something, or like something like messed up with your hair, and some dude pulls off your fucking hat, you gotta kill him. Like, you gotta kill him. Take him out. Like, imagine if a lot of people there, bro. They're gonna be like, "Oh hell no!" Like, imagine like a hot girl, you fucked up, your hairline, something is messed up, right? And like, I don't know. Let's just say you burnt your hair. You got a big hole in the back of your head. Now you're wearing a hat or something, and you wait for it to recover or something. The woman think you a 10, but now she gets the ick. You gotta kill that man. For real. Not even joking.
fuck just did that? Like, you can go back in the VODs and see the clip.
There's no going
You feel
back.
me?
And you gotta
Do you
move
mean to
states.
tell me I'll be justified to knock this nigga out? No, I didn't touch him. Why would I touch him? Then I would stand to lose everything. Like, I'm just using my brain, bro. Then I would need Abba to come in and help support my fucking legal fees in this fight I'm gonna have to take care of, because now it's a criminal issue because they might try and charge me for assault, and it's gonna be a civil issue because he might claim a whole bunch of different damages. I'm not gonna lie, I have a good cross, chat. If I throw a cross, it's gonna hurt.
You see, he said he has a good cross. I bet he does. I've seen him box. I don't know. I feel like them basic punches go a long way. Where my water go?
Right, Chris? Chris in the chat. Chris, tell him. Chris, you're in the chat. Go ahead, tell him. Yes, you got assaulted. No, I think it depends on who it is. I think because it's Sneeko, it's easy to look at him and be like, yo, that was justified. But there's a justified response to a wrong act. You feel me? Like if you punch me, I can't. If you punch me and I retaliate by killing your whole family, we could all agree that's too much. Right? So there's a justified get Jayoma. No, he's only licensed in Texas, I think. He's a Texas nigga.
Aldo quickly finds out why you should not mess with someone else's
But the
property.
point I'm trying to make is there is a justified response. And you would have to argue in court it was justified.
Damn, actually.
Yeah, actually. Don't touch someone else's stuff.
Hey, don't touch no one's fucking hats no more, nigga. Don't touch nobody's fucking hat. Oh, I'm sick of all this hat touching. Oh man, it's getting real, yo. It's getting dicey, nigga. Don't touch no hats,
but
gang.
Logan
Don't touch
Paul
no
come
hats.
and beat him up?
Don't touch no hats no more, bro. For the month of June, no hat touching from any streamers.
Don't touch someone else's body. And if you had a good father out there, he would have
Poor
taught you at a
hats.
very young age, don't touch another man's hat. And some of y'all probably think that's the stupidest thing ever, but it's really just a respect thing. I mean, he even gave this kid the chance. So give me that hat back.
Damn, actually.
Okay, he didn't give.
Took like
The nigga
5
asked
times.
once, and then he came in and he slapped him. That's
No.
hardly giving someone a chance.
No. No. This nigga has a soft heart because he's hard-headed. He should have slapped him the moment he grabbed the hat. The decency was the give me my hat, give me my hat, give me my hat. That nigga, what did he expect? He could have got Superman punched. He got slapped by this big man that might be on roids.
And I mean, this is someone who wears hats all the time, so you know he's taking this shit serious. Especially like you're gonna take my hat and then you're gonna put it on
You
your
know why
nasty
niggas
ass.
wear hats, bro. So when you take a nigga's hat off, what the fuck do you expect?
This is
Hair
all you
follicles?
need.
Nah, you're gonna get bitch slapped.
Obviously, they're wearing hats because they're not happy with the way the hair looks.
5 playing in the background. Payphone and all, like this shit ain't sweet. Now this was him after he got punched by the security guard. He booted up the stream.
Love speed!
So he's having a good time with it apparently. I mean, I guess all you can do when you get punched right in your face in front of 100 million people is just kind of laugh the pain away. Now here's where we get back to Sneako's America First is all that matters message.
I care about America first. That's what it's all about.
Because his buddy Nick Fuentes, who's the leader of that whole movement, actually weighed in on Sneako getting punched, and he thought it was pretty hilarious.
I feel so bad for Sneako. He was the casualty getting punched. But the video is so funny.
That was funny? What was funny about that?
Knocked his hat
Absolutely
off.
hilarious.
Because the security guard,
The security guard should have knocked his ass out. I'm still questioning what the fuck went on. I'm more impressed by this man getting up.
I don't know if you saw the video, Sneako got hit in the face by a security guard.
He's smiling pretty hard.
He's flipping everybody off, he's dancing. Somebody knocks his hat off. He goes, okay. And then he leaps into the air.
Super
pulls
high.
the fist back.
Bro, he's wheeze laughing.
Looks like a
flies
Michael
in the
Jordan
air
logo.
With the fist pulled back and blasts Sneako in the face.
Like, that made me realize that I support the America First movement. I'm always going to be a to them.
So for those of you that didn't catch that, he's
Like, okay. And one thing I hate is Sneako, Myron, they all attack the low IQ black people. The low IQ black people. There's so many smart, educated black people in this world. But they wouldn't dare talk to someone with brains. They go and search for the low IQs, the 305 bitches. Why are you listening to a bitch that can barely talk? Anyways. There's nothing wrong with 305s. The issue is they don't. Never mind. The whole idea is to put the dumbest bitches on the show so they make their narratives, shine bright. Because obviously, it's like when you ask someone a question like, how do you feel? How many men have you fucked in the last week? You know the answer. Because they're at that point in life where they don't give a fuck. It's like, yeah, I fucked 50 dudes. But who cares? I got more money than you. It's whatever. But there's some points where I agree, and that's why I don't stay on the side, because I used to do that. Be like, I'll ride or die thinking that we're on the same page, and then it goes, oh no, on different things, you know? Maybe just on that we were there, but on other things, you might have different philosophies. That's why I don't just, you know.
It's like, no matter how much I support and dick ride this guy, I'm always just gonna be another N-word to him. But he also says that he'll always be his buddy.
And Nick's my friend. Like, I don't want people to clip this and get upset. It made me like, bro,
1,000,
He's
almost
half black.
12K.
He's
Really
Haitian.
good.
He's Haitian.
massa.
Like, anyone who's too far on either end of the political spectrum, I just really don't trust them at
Right?
all, because they're really trying to
he's
mess
half
with
Haitian,
your
half
ability to think
Filipino,
independently.
if I'm not
But you know,
mistaken.
Tim, everyone else is a grifter, and he's just the beacon of truth.
Chad, should I just stay on Batu? Should I have grifted like the commentary channel? Should I have stayed a soy boy? Yes or no? Yes or no? Like, be honest, bro. Like, why am I getting punched by the fourth venue security? Why am I doing
I
that?
definitely think Sneeko, as a younger kid on the internet, was more mature. Like, I think, how do I say this? Like, he's on the topic of, like, I get what he's doing, because sometimes I even try to do it. But I get it. I get it, because this generation, I get it. It's just, I feel like if he was more people like his, you know, more, like, I don't know, I feel like he's a little confused about certain things, and he's hardcore. So when he's confused about something, he goes left. You know what I mean? Like, he's hardcore in it. Whatever he does it hardcore, head down. He's like, okay, I'm Muslim now. I'm only, like, you know, like, he doesn't, it's like, whatever this says, I'm gonna do. It's like, question things. That's how you grow. It just feels like a new thing now. Like, he's experimenting, but I get it. People search for a lot. I just confused a little bit. Because then now he craps on one, like, but switches a lot, you know? I don't know. I just feel like some of his not good topics that he has weird stances on gets him in trouble. Like, sometimes I can't tell if it's troll or not. But I think he needs to stop trying to get a reaction out of the dumb, low IQ black people. Go mess with someone that actually has brains, that actually that you should be talking to. Don't search in the wrong areas for people on topics that you know that these people don't even really give a fuck about. Like, you know that's not fair. And I get it. Y'all do that for entertainment because you know that you can do whatever you want. You know, because you're gonna start. What you're gonna do is you're gonna start bringing up topics that you know they ain't fucking prepared for. So then that's when you can do your little teaching moment on whatever you're trying to get on your little narrative posts, and then push the propaganda, control the narrative, and then you look good. But come to people that actually know what they want and actually value that other than themselves. Because there's a lot of people that just care about themselves, and you're asking them questions that you shouldn't be asking. You know? You just gotta, I just don't like that. But I get it. The internet's not all about the truth. I've understood that. I've understood it. It's who's first to post
I mean,
it.
he's acting like he got punched because of his political beliefs, when in reality, he got punched because he put his hands on someone else.
I really care about the truth. I want everyone to see this.
I'll say this. In defense of all my security niggas in the chat, y'all job is not particularly easy. Actually, I'll say this. 80% of you that do security, you guys actually don't even work. I know about you. I'll stay quiet about it. You guys just be on the phone with your friends. You don't actually secure shit. Okay? To the 20% that usually the ones that work out at night and shit like that, the ones that actually have to do work, I know this shit is not easy, okay? Because I know plenty of people try and ego you and be assholes and think they deserve things. I know this shit's probably annoying. And then it probably makes you much of an asshole because you gotta match their energy. You can't just be no fucking pushover. So I get it. I know this shit's not easy. But some of y'all niggas, literally, there's a section of 10% of security niggas that be taking shit so far, their ego's so inflated, they be thinking like people is there to see them, is fucking insane, bro. And to that category of people, like, you low-key deserve to get rocked. You feel me? Not by me, because I don't want to risk my future, but by somebody that doesn't have a future. You deserve to get rocked. And that's understanding all context. Feel me? At the end of the day. Some of y'all niggas be doing way too much. And if you got a whole crowd of people doing this to you,
This nigga just put a hit on the 10% security.
you're probably doing too much, gang. If you're dancing doing
He
this,
said, pretty much said, all you nobodies in life, go kill this nigga.
probably doing too much. That being said, don't touch niggas' hats, man. I'm all for that
That's the moral of
movement.
the story.
No touching hats movement.
Don't even touch people in general, bro. That's the problem with y'all motherfuckers. Y'all think everything is a joke. I told y'all, bro. Ain't shit a joke, bro. If you wouldn't like it done to you, or if you wouldn't like it in your perspective, like I've said this a million times. In the submarine, when we were watching people fall to their death, I said the same thing. The memes, they were cool, but then I thought about it. I can barely say the truth without people getting fucking hurt. So now these people on the internet saying, "Oh, it's just a joke," bitch. What? Y'all like to pick and choose, bro. But imagine your family on that. You'd be fucking tweaking on the internet, seeing memes left and right. I mean, shit, you guys are fucking soulless human beings. You guys only care about yourselves. That makes sense. I just thought about that. That confirms it. Because, again, if it was your perspective, you guys would easily be offended. But since it's not, it's a joke. It's funny. Ha 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 ha. I can't relate. I got you.
You touch my hat and don't touch it. Let's not even go down that route.
Look at I genuinely care about this. The motto is seek truth through funny. I live this.
I just feel like any person who thinks that they know the truth of the matter.
Seek truth through funny. So that's what Drake be doing with the memes. That nigga ain't winning versus Kendrick. Try to be funny. This shit worked one time versus Meek Mill. He did that shit versus a nigga that actually, that makes music. That didn't work. Maybe it worked sometimes, Nico. But every time, nigga?
In every situation is actually more arrogant than the person who is completely uninformed. I guess the core point of this video is that streamers have been around for a long time,
one more hat clip out
and
of
now
June.
they're finally facing the repercussions of their actions. But I want to know what you guys think of.
We're gonna get one more hat clip out of June, bro. We will. W video, Jamari. W video.
I like that video. It's funny.